watching Force 13's live streaming service. Hello, this is Force 13 Live. My name's Nathan Foy, and it's nice for you to join us, and maybe not so nice in the events that are currently occurring. Hurricane Matthew is a Category 4 storm with winds of 140 miles an hour winds and has been intensifying. Its latest pressure was 936 millibars, and also a note, you're looking at the webcam right now from Port St. Lucie, where it seems to have gotten a lot worse in the last few minutes because seems to have been a rain shower coming through. 5,000 customers are out of power in Miami-Dade County. That number's 4,000 in Broward County, 3,000 in Palm Beach County, 400 in Martin County, and 300 in St. Lucie County. Rough numbers there. And actually in Brevard County, 1,000 as well. So that's the latest in terms of electricity along the coast of Florida there. I'm joined by the Skype team as always. In this hour, it's in the form of Lee, Strat, Craig, and Nathan Bell. Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening as well, too. We are here to keep you covered on the Hurricane Matthew, as well as a side dish of minor severe weather outbreak in Kansas.
Yeah, we expect it's minor. It could be worse yet, but the severe weather outbreak, that is, not the hurricane. I'm just trying to find out the latest on that as we speak. There might be a tornado warning in effect, is there?
There is.
There's multiple. There's about 3, I think.
Let's go. Tell us all about them.
Yeah. All right. So, we got multiple tornado warnings. One to the southwest of Topeka, one to the northwest Topeka, Manhattan, Kansas, is expected to dodge this storm, but at these storms are going right along I
think he's cut out over there.
Yeah, I've got Marcel too.
Marcel's here.
Okay.
And David's returned. How about that?
Yes, and Nathan, just check your private private link, and it's good to be back in the studio.
Yes.
And Nathan, multiple tornadoes have been reported, I think, up in the Kansas area, and it's good to see Marcel and Craig along with Lee here.
Yes. Let me read
streams
out.
going in.
Oh yes, we'll read out the rest of those tornado warnings.
Oh yeah. All right, back to what I was saying on those tornado warnings. We got a tornado warning for, let me look here. This is for Central Dickinson County in central Kansas. And here's the statement. It was capable of producing a tornado located 8 miles north of Carrollton, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour, so half-dollar size hail, and definitely a tornado possible there. And then we also have one more tornado warning, and that is for east central Clay and northwestern Riley County. This is a confirmed large and dangerous tornado 4 miles south of Clay Center, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Particularly dangerous situation. National Weather Service on the Clay and Riley County storm is fixing to issue a tornado emergency.
Oh, that's interesting. First one in a while.
Yeah.
Let me read out some news from Matthew then. The National Hurricane Center did a position update at 6 o'clock. A NOAA station at Settlement Point on Grand Bahama recently reported a sustained wind of 58 miles per hour and a wind gust of 74. A National Ocean Service station at Lake Worth Pier in Florida recently reported a sustained wind of 41 miles per hour and a wind gust of 48. So tropical storm conditions are now officially being felt along the coast of Florida, though I'm not sure where exactly Lake Worth Pier is. Right now the storm is at 26.4 north, 78.7 west. That's 10 miles southeast of Freeport, 90 miles east-southeast of West Palm Beach. It's with winds of 140 miles per hour and a pressure of 938 millibars. Lake Worth Pier is somewhere. I'm trying to figure out where it is, but I'll get that information to you. Strat, you wanted to show us something.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a look at storm surge potential, just because we haven't really looked at it recently, and I've noticed that the maps are going up in terms of potential.
Lake Worth Pier is just south of West Palm Beach.
Yeah, so that's down further south of Melbourne. Note that this is a prototype, and that these numbers are if the storm hits at high tide, which in this area in general is forecast, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Just pay attention to the key. Blue's greater than 1 foot, green's greater than 3, orange is greater than 6, and red is greater than 9. If you notice, there is quite a large area of 9+ feet, specifically around Titusville, which I have expressed my concern for the past day, just because this bay area could pile up some water, as long as it's starting to stretch up a bit towards Daytona Beach as well. Moving further north, up to Palm Coast and Jacksonville, up to the border of Georgia. Again, larger areas now of 9+ feet, particularly Jacksonville, the river, right here. A lot of water they're forecasting should pile up.
Yeah, I'm afraid we're not able to see anything right now, Strat, so do say it in as much detail as possible.
Yeah, I can see it though. I can definitely see it. Yeah, so Jacksonville near the border, the river leading in towards Jacksonville. It's not showing it though.
Keep going, Strat.
The river leading into Jacksonville and flowing out towards the ocean is forecast to receive a wide area of 9+ feet of storm surge. And that can be a concern for the greater metropolitan area of Jacksonville in general. Georgia is actually a big concern in my mind, because if you go to look at the map yourself on the National Hurricane Center, it's going to be called the Potential Storm Surge Flooding Map. Most all of the Georgia coast is forecast, if the storm were to hit at high tide, to have 9+ feet of storm surge, which is a big concern, especially because this area isn't particularly hit that often. And then this does include the metropolitan areas of Savannah and Brunswick as well. And then moving into South Carolina, it isn't as bad there right now, at least, just because the storm is significantly further away from it at the moment. But good swaths of areas of 6+ feet if the storm were to hit a high tide around Beaufort and Charleston as well. So that's the latest on potential storm surge.
David, do you have any news about any effects that have been felt in Florida or elsewhere yet?
Not at this stage, but the National Weather Service has retreated posting water over US 400 near V Road. Fire personnel reporting water standing in passing lane. That's Greenwood County.
Greenwood County. Where is that in Florida?
I'm not sure. I think this is outside the Florida area. Yeah, this is, I think, the tornado activity. And Nathan, I'm just looking for updated information on Matthew. Do we support that Matthew is undertaking or has undergone a formation of the outer eye?
It's I'm actually not really sure.
Let's try and get the radar up on my screen at least. There's the latest, is it? Or I might have to reload both of them. So let's see if we can garner the latest now. That seems to be up to date. So you can see that the eye of the storm is just clipping the southern coast of Grand Bahama, and it's what you could call its outer eye wall is still very much there. They're a bit weak on the southwest side, but as you can see, some rainfall going through Florida right now. St. Lucie not looking too bad in particular. That's where the camera is that you've been watching so far. But some significant rainfall occurring, what appears to be significant rainfall north of Orlando. The Sanford area towards Daytona Beach could be having a rough time right now. And the Jacksonville area getting hit by an outer band right now as well. Looking towards the Miami area, there's one headed that way. Headed towards probably over Fort Lauderdale right now. And could be a bit rough over there as well over the next hour or so. But that may well be the worst bit that they will get in Miami. Maybe not quite Fort Lauderdale, but in Miami could be the worst part coming up right now.
And Nathan, just this question, is Matthew likely to adopt the same path that Julia took last month?
Difficult to compare the two, considering that Julia formed in northern Florida.
And
yeah,
I was going to just say other things surrounding both systems are significantly different.
Indeed.
And it's been posted, can't make this stuff up, folks. Model still suggesting Matthew could make a giant 360-degree loop.
Absolutely, that is amongst the possibilities, and there are many such possibilities.
Now mentioning models, I'm assuming the 18Z models should start rendering when the GFS has for this point in time. Especially at least for close to 5 days. I guess I'll try again with screen share just to show it really. If not, I guess someone else can try to pick it up. Any luck?
No, I'm afraid not. If you've got any questions for us, by the way, please send us a message. Start your message with Force 13. And I believe some people have, and I'm trying to find it. What's the deal with Nicole, and is Matthew going to do a U-turn?
Good question.
Anyone want to answer
Well,
that?
What I will say for those that are following this live stream, Adam, Lee and myself in coming hours will be activating the Caribbean channel where we will be cutting into this live stream, and we will be expanding on Matthew, Nicole, and stay tuned to that channel. But the main focus remains on this channel. But we will be having a general discussion on that channel in coming hours.
More questions. Is Canada going to get hit? Not likely.
I would
I
say
agree.
no. Very unlikely.
Is it bad for
Very
Polk
unlikely.
County? I think if I wasn't mistaken, the radar showed some stuff headed maybe for there. Might be a bit north of that. But again, expect tropical storm force winds minimum in places like that. Orlando, possibly hurricane force. Top of All Worlds says, why are there 4 systems around Matthew? Isn't hurricane season over? No, hurricane season doesn't officially finish till the end of November, believe it or not. Steer Fuma says, is Matthew taking a westerly turn? Because they've been looking at the radar and showing how it's turned a little west recently. Well, it's only 1 or 2 images, and we can't really discern a trend yet. At the moment, you call it a wobble. Other questions, how bad is it going to get for Deltona? Hurricane conditions quite likely there. Did the storm move west? Again, we answered that question. And I think that's everything for now. Original Jaws says, is it still expected to make landfall around the Melbourne area, or seems to be staying off the coast? Unknown at the moment. It could make landfall, it may well not, it may parallel the coast, but with that northwestward track, which might put it back on the National Hurricane Centre's track, might be calling for a landfall. But to be honest, it's pretty irrelevant whether it makes landfall or not. It's still going to get significantly close to land to deliver hurricane force conditions, significant storm surge, and heavy rainfall. And that applies to the places that some people have been asking about: West Palm Beach, Vero Beach, those places included there.
And for the Matthew's total population, which he's impacting on, is 11.2 million. And into account its previous or track through Haiti. So 11.2 million on the US soil. And Hillsborough County has opened shelters for those affected by Hurricane Matthew, including those from other counties.
I noticed someone asked, what will the wind speeds be in Deltona, Florida? If you guys don't know where that is on the map, it's probably a little bit south and west of Daytona, probably roughly 20 miles inland, I would assume.
Sort of, would he say halfway between Daytona Beach and Orlando, or a bit closer to Daytona Beach?
In between Daytona and Titusville, but to the north and west of Titusville and south and west of Daytona Beach. Mm. And north and east of Orlando, actually.
Yes, and people are asking about it, the winds in Deltona. Again, it could be hurricane force there, more than likely, actually, probably hurricane force. Winds in actual numbers, I wouldn't really want to speculate, but hurricane force winds by default is 75 miles per hour or higher.
And someone asked about Boca Raton, and that is...
That's south of West Palm Beach, is it? Or is it further north?
It's in between West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale.
That's right. So, again, hurricane warning in effect, hurricane conditions certainly likely as we get into the evening hours, and by morning things should be okay there. But until the morning, it's going to get a bit rough, we would expect, particularly with that westward motion if it's occurring. And tonight, particularly before midnight, it's going to be possibly hurricane conditions, and winds are getting up right now. Tropical storm force winds have now been recorded on the coast of Florida at, where was it, Lake Worth, and that was just south of West Palm Beach. Other questions: will Nicole go the same track as Matthew or meet up with Matthew on the second round, and will it hit Texas? Well, no to all of those. Nicole's probably going to stall and then loop around the Atlantic. Western Atlantic, and could become a hurricane for a second time as it heads towards Bermuda. At the moment, the only place that it could possibly threaten in the next 5 days is Bermuda. Someone asking about small town of Mount Dora, what should I expect? Well, forgive me for not knowing where that is. I'll look it up right now, and that is in Lake County. So for that area, it would be tropical storm force conditions would be pretty much a certainty, and considering how there are a lot of lakes in that area, I don't know whether there could be a potential lake surge for those areas, maybe. I'm not sure. But tropical storm force conditions, hurricane force conditions possible for that area and all the locations around it, Tavares, Leesburg, and all the other locations in that area. People asking about 75-mile-an-hour hurricane-force winds. Can it take off roofs? I guess it depends what kind of roof, but I don't know. Maybe you guys know more about that sort of thing than me.
Really depends on, I guess, structure and durability of the thing in general. You can't say unless you really know everything about that specific thing.
I expect that they're pretty well constructed, and at 75 miles an hour probably wouldn't tear off a roof in most cases. It would certainly give mobile homes a rough time, and you might want to consider evacuating. And when it gets to Category 2 intensity, I reckon that would be when the roofs would start peeling off houses. For certain. Let's see. Suzanne says, my husband doesn't think Jacksonville, North Carolina will get hit. Is he right? Well, it's up in the air at the moment. It is looking less likely at the latest update that it will get hit, but it's still a possibility, and there's a lot of uncertainty around that day 2 to day 3 period as to whether North Carolina will get hit or not. It might not have a direct hit, but you know, it may have a indirect hit with rainfall, possibly flooding rainfall, and gusty winds, especially along the coast. If you're a few miles inland, I wouldn't worry about winds, but rainfall could be a significant thing. Until things change, that's probably my standpoint there. You can see a bit of rainfall falling into the camera now on the screen from Port St. Lucie. I'm not sure if it's Port St. Lucie, but the St. Lucie County area is where this webcam is coming from. Some river somewhere, or inlet. And yeah, go ahead, Strat.
I was just gonna say, Craig is screen sharing actually infrared of coal. If you want to pull it up.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm not able to see anything right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to restart everything that's going on over there on Skype. And in the meantime, I'll just talk a little bit about what warnings we have in effect. So we have a hurricane warning, which is in effect for northwestern Bahamas, including the Abarcos, Andros Island, Berry Islands, Bimini, Eleuthera, Grand Bahama Island and New Providence, north of Golden Beach to South Sante River and Lake Okeechobee. A tropical storm warning is in effect for Chokoloskee to Golden Beach, Florida Keys from 7 Mile Bridge eastward, Florida Bay, Antelope River to Suwannee River and north of South Sante River to Surf City. A tropical storm watch is in effect for north of Chokoloskee to Antelope River. As you can see, things getting very squally on the webcam right now. And we're back with the Skype team.
And the screen share should be now up.
Yes, it would be, and it is.
You've got it? Good.
So as you can see, the rain falling significantly there into the camera.
Yes, visibility is decreasing.
Oh
And
wow,
you-
that's a big change.
And you have a new
Yeah.
person just joined the stream.
Thanks, joined us.
Yes, I have. I just finished recording my update on my channel, so that went actually quite fast. So that's good, I guess. But looking at the storm, it looks like in the last few position updates, it's been moving a little bit further east than initially expected.
We've been saying that, but I have to say, recently, Hank, a little bit further west. But before we get onto that properly,
Yeah,
I think that's Craig showing us Nicole, and he's actually typing something to us on text. So if we get that image at the top out of the way for now, there it is.
okay.
There's
So,
hoping Nicole with 85-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, that thing's a hurricane now. Like I said earlier today, I thought this thing would become a hurricane, and it looks like that came to fruition. And she's saying that thing could become 100 miles an hour, so a Cat 2. So
I'm just going to leave everything up and running here. I'm going to take a short break from my desk, but you guys can keep talking in the meantime.
Okay. Aqua Heart says Matthew and Nicole might merge, they say. Very unlikely. Matthew, they're too far apart, first off. Second off, if these things do merge, it wouldn't be a Fujiwara effect. It would be because of Matthew absorbing Nicole, which is also unlikely. But, you know, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's very unlikely. Other questions going on are being asked. Original Jaws, I think he's referring to me because I mentioned my channel. What's your channel? It's called Hank's Weather Page. I'm probably going to be changing the title of it very soon, just for those who don't know. Something that's a bit more relevant, at least for my interests. Did someone else want to talk?
And on this stage, this is Force 13's rolling coverage of Hurricane Matthew, and the ongoing support is appreciated. And you can also follow us on the Twitter platform, Force 13. You can monitor the text messages going out on that platform via our main Force 13 website. The link is at the bottom of the page.
Yes. Someone in the comments asked for us to show the radar footage. I will pull that up right now. So, yes.
Hello! I'm back!
Yes.
Now we've got somebody that's come into the room, and who
You're
do we
alive.
have?
I don't know who that is. I can't see who that is. Excuse me. Right now.
Nate Bell. Mr. Nate Bell.
Yes,
Oh,
Nathan Bell from this morning. Welcome back.
His mic's a little muffled right now. So yeah, looking at the radar imagery of Matthew, you can see the northern eye wall is still the more intense part of the eye wall. It's a little bit of a new frame just came out. A little bit of a dry air pocket, but it looks like Freeport. It looks like the western part of the city may be getting the eye wall right now. So that's obviously not good news, but the eye should stay offshore. As for track, this thing has, as I said earlier, it looked like it was moving a little bit further east, but in these last couple of minutes, it's began to move back on track, as Nathan was saying earlier. In fact, I can pull up the cone right here. There's a little bit of an exhaust noise that happens whenever a video is processing. Excuse me, in my area, because my technology is not the greatest.
Some quick comments, briefly, Hank. Vax says, is the hurricane going in a current direction to maybe hit the UK? No.
Yeah.
John Ryan says, how can we call in?
That's...
You actually, I wish you could call in, but we don't actually have the infrastructure to do that, I'm afraid.
What was this question? I didn't hear it.
How can we call in? We don't have a phone. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, but
text
UK impact,
go ahead.
if at all, they would be at least 2 weeks away, and that's just not something to talk about. But while
Not at all.
You can see the cone right here, and yeah, not your typical looking cone, quite clearly, because this thing is actually forecast to loop back around, possibly towards where it's impacting right now, which is I think that's Grand Bahama. I don't know my Bahaman geography, though I should.
But the one that's right over now, yeah.
Grand Bahamas. So it could come back towards that, albeit it will be much weaker if it does. Probably a weak tropical storm by that time. So not going to be nearly as impactful as the first round is. As you can see, the hurricane was right here. It's now kind of jumped up to here, but it should get right back on track, and it's already beginning to do so. As stated in the forecast discussion for this advisory. I heard Lee trying to say something. Do you want to go ahead and say something?
That's okay for the moment.
Okay, I thought...
I'll give a little bit of breaking news for David, though.
Breaking news?
Magnitude 6 earthquake in Taiwan.
Yes, Nathan?
A magnitude 6 earthquake where?
Magnitude 6 has occurred at Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Oh. Wow.
Okay.
How strong?
Well, they've had a bad year so far this year.
They have.
Wait, how strong exactly?
Yeah, magnitude 6.
6.
So that's pretty high.
Magnitude 6.
Right
Yeah.
now you can see
Wait.
what's going on in St. Lucie County, showing that the storm is making itself felt there. That would appear to be not a squall line, but a rain band that's going through right now, and that's been the case for about 10 minutes. It was looking pretty calm before then with some winds coming through. Might have to hurry you guys along with everything we're saying because of many comments and questions.
They're going all over
County in the clear right now. Well, it's no, not really. Polk County is probably going to receive tropical storm force conditions or possibly hurricane force conditions. Possibly hurricane force. I'd say that's somewhat unlikely, but tropical storm force conditions, basically what you see in front of you on this webcam, and yeah, not great. But just to confirm, that was a magnitude 6 earthquake in Taiwan. Just confirm that.
It's confirmed. The USGS is saying 5.7, but I support Lee magnitude 6.
Okay. Well, we'll give you any further news on that if it comes in. David, I know you're monitoring the wires. Any more news coming out of Florida or Haiti or Cuba or anywhere?
My computer is slow. I might have to reboot it. What have we got?
Okay.
The radar is showing a westward motion for Matthew, and as stated, I've got an update from the National Guard. When everyone else is headed out, your Florida National Guard is headed in. So National Guard is now responding to the Florida region. And aerial footage being shown by CNN read a massive destruction in Haiti.
Yeah, of course. And it's not going to be good news coming out of there for some time, is it?
No, not at all.
And we storm surge. The picture hasn't changed. The main threat will be Daytona Beach, Jacksonville, Savannah, and heading north towards Charleston, and 4 to 6 feet from Charleston through to Myrtle Beach. Miami is 1 to 3 feet to its north, then 4 to 6 feet to the south of West Palm Beach up to Melbourne. And as I mentioned, 7 to 11 feet south of Melbourne, right up to, or let's say 3/4 of the way towards Charleston. And as I mentioned earlier, 11.2 million now being impacted on by Matthew.
Yep, and what we're looking at is the current rainstorm that appears to be going on in St. Lucie, one of the live webcams that we are looking at right now. And by the way, guys in the room, the awkward silences don't sound so awkward with the ambient noise in the background of the rain falling. We don't always have news to report. Things get... we often have a minute or two where it's a bit quiet, but they're still moving northwest on the radar and satellite. The new visuals that you can see on the screen provided by Jason, who does a very good job, and you can see how the eye is clipping the western coast or even making landfall on the western tip of Grand Bahama. If you've got any comments or questions, start your comment with Force13. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter, search Force13 all in text, or add Fool13 on Skype. That's FOOL13. We'll get to your questions in a moment.
I know that what.
One at a time.
Nathan, have you got that on the screen share? Is it showing up?
Oh, let's see, what are we getting to here? Ah, yes.
So the purple. This is from I think 2 First Alert. Just acknowledging WESH2 News, and they're showing this chart or graph. The purple would be devastating damage. I say the orange would be extensive damage high, and the yellow would most likely be moderate.
Who's that in the background?
Oh,
I think it's Marcel.
Yeah, it's
That's
wonderful.
Marcel.
Yeah.
I see there's... Yes.
I don't think he's on the stream right now. He's in another world.
David, check your messages. Send the message.
Well,
Yeah.
what we've got right now is the scene in St. Lucie. It doesn't seem to be getting any better. Seems to be getting somewhat worse. And the rainfall in a steady stream right now. I'm not sure what the winds are. Difficult to get any visual clues apart from trying to make out the waters, I guess. With I can't remember what it what the wind speed indicates when you see a few white tops on those waves or ripples there, David. Do you know? You've got experience at being on the water.
I'll just I think the looking at that live cam, it looks like what, a northeasterly.
I don't know which way the camera's facing.
Yeah, that's what I'm just thinking, but I can actually. Well, we don't know what the high tide situation is along the path.
Well, it's been at low tide apparently, and I think high tide in Miami at least is tonight. But I think, well, I know that Daytona Beach is during the day, so I guess at the point in between, I have no idea, to be honest, but for this particular location. But hey, let's get to some questions.
I think there might be a bit of lightning in that shot too, Nathan. I just saw the flash, and you can see the white caps, the waves, the white caps
That is
now
interesting.
taking place. But I'm looking at that jetty there, and there's no doubt that's going to go under.
Oh, I
When
see.
you factor in,
For
storm
sure.
surge.
All right.
Um,
And we are still watching.
Yeah.
It's decided to
Yes.
ask me. But the questions. Will Deltona be safe? Well, we can't say. We can't
I think we
say
actually
whether it'll be
mentioned that
safe or
earlier.
not. But we can tell you that to expect hurricane force winds, and
storm surge.
you might be safe if you take the necessary precautions. But your accommodation may well not be, depends on how well it's built. But hurricane force conditions expected over in that area. It's not on the coast, so surge probably won't be an issue unless you're near a lake or something. So that's what I'd say about that. And right
Yeah, I'd
now
agree.
you can see the latest, the radar, the satellite on the top right hand corner as well. Any more questions? Do send them through.
Yeah, and picking up on the comments in the chat room, Frank Howard, I note you're posting we Planet X Lee, he's in the studio with us, hosts his climate show, and Planet X, well, stay tuned, and when we do his
Yes.
show, we might cover it.
Yeah.
So Lee, any thoughts on Planet X?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it about that on this live coverage because this is just from
so that's
Matthew's.
been noted.
So no.
Interesting.
We have a question coming in from Florida Gator saying that this will be the worst ever seen in Florida's history by far. I would like to disagree with that. It is probably Andrew. Andrew was probably the worst storm to ever make landfall in Florida, or that, or the Miami hurricane of 1926. One of the two, or maybe even the Okeechobee hurricane of 1928.
How's it going to be for Pompano? I'm not. I mean, I'm definitely would see some pretty good winds there. Tropical storm force at the least, maybe even hurricane force.
On the stream.
Pompano Beach.
Oh, sorry, I misheard that. Yeah, well, we'll hear from the National Hurricane Center again in about 20 minutes, and they'll tell us the latest on that.
Yep.
On what they've recorded.
Yeah. Something I just wanted to bring up a little while ago. I think Craig said that on the radar there's a dry pocket right near the center of the eye. I'm actually not sure. I think that's actually just the outer eye wall contracting on the inner eye wall. So that might be something to note because dry air would kind of mean weakening, and that's really just, well, not dry air really as much as just kind of contractions in the eyes.
And you can hear the rain getting up there and heavier and more persistent on St. Lucie, and yeah, it's a very inclement situation there, and I'm not sure how strong the winds will be, but I think every so often you can hear them howling just a little bit, so maybe tropical storm force gusts or maybe even tropical storm force winds now in that location.
Yeah.
The heaviest rain bands right now are to the south of Daytona Beach, and one just impacted Orlando. Orlando's about to have another rain band impact them. Tampa is about to get another rain band with these on and off bands.
Yeah.
But other than that, they got light rain.
Like it. I still say to note that as I see that screen share, that anything more than like around Charleston is too early to tell for certain. But other than that, it's too early to tell, but we can be pretty certain about the impacts will be kind of extensive. I would like to share kind of the steering factors because that holds importance. A lot of people are wondering why this is supposed to do like a loop-de-loop, so I guess I can share some of that stuff. This is Matthew right now, really. Down here, basically, this is 6 hours after the 18Z, so this would be 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, so a hour and 16 minutes from now. Puts the storm basically almost exactly where it is right now, which is pretty accurate. I highlighted the high pressure because that's what's stopping Matthew from going north or like further north and up the coast in general. People were wondering why it shifted away from that. High pressure is stopping it from going through and up the coast. 2 days out is kind of where things get a little bit more interesting because here, 48 hours, or no, this is 72, my bad. This is the right one. 48 hours out, you still have a little bit of the high pressure here, but that was moving out, and you have a strong ridge of high pressure to the west of the storm over southeastern Oklahoma. The steering flow from that kind of forces the storm in a southerly motion, which stops the storm from going out to sea or up the coast, and it can't go southeast because Nicole's there, and low pressure systems usually kind of repel each other off, so its only option is really to start moving south again. And then 3 days out, the other area of high pressure is completely gone. This high pressure is taken over, forcing it south, so it can't go out to sea, and it can't move towards Nicole. Although, something interesting to note 3 days out, if this is the exact correct track, Matthew and Nicole do share and link up a bar of equal pressure. Does that really mean much? No, but is it something to keep an eye on? Most definitely. So that's really the latest. Oh, David, you shared an interesting photo on the Skype chat. What is that?
That's Miami.
Yeah, bring it to the screen if I may.
Alright, just give me a minute, Nathan. I've still got it here, and I'll bring it up.
In the meantime, we'll continue watching Port St. Lucie. Do you think that water level is rising there at all?
Yes. It's a tight.
Yes, I
Have you
Definitely.
actually been able? Have you actually noticed it with your eyes, maybe?
I've been watching it on the PS4 here, and I've actually noticed that rising. I think it's definitely rising. Definitely.
You'd imagine it would. We'll keep our eyes on it and see how far it goes. Obviously, it's going to get dark in the area soon.
That is from Melanie Steinberg account. Matthew approaching Miami. My friend posted these on Facebook an hour ago, and she's made a comment, make sure to stay safe down south. So you can see that massive and deep cloud. Is that going to generate a water spout? So that's one of the two.
Is that a wall cloud or
There
a
you are.
thundercloud was that?
It's a self cloud, I think.
Either way, it
Looks
does not
like
look good.
It looks like a severe thunderstorm or something associated
Yep,
with
so Miami still looks like they're going to get some impacts.
And this is posted by Melanie Steinberg and retweeted by HNF, and could be airline or. So we go back to the second one and look how. I hope they're not on the beach. It looks like they are. Oh, jeez. And I hate to imagine what the instability level would be along the entire Florida coast.
Yeah,
Not
I've just
a
been
good
looking, by
place
the
to
way.
be.
I've just been looking at reference for the camera that we're looking at in front of us at the sea conditions. It would suggest wind speeds of around 20 miles per hour sustained right now where we're looking here. So a little bit less than what I thought.
Yeah, I just saw an interesting comment from Sparrow. I mean, we were talking about, not drinking, not on the street stuff. She reported that alcohol sales in Flagler County have been suspended. I would assume that the stores would already be closed, but if they're not, that's still something good.
Yeah, at this point, would someone like to show us the National Hurricane Center's cone and maybe some spaghetti models as well, in that order?
I'll get that up. Just give me a minute real quick. Screen share. Yes, my video is now online, so if you want to watch that after the stream, obviously you're during the break, then go ahead. So let me pull up the spaghetti models
Well, we're here
first.
all day, so...
Well, yeah. Whenever you feel like watching it, you can go ahead and watch it. NHC cone. I should try to close out some of my tabs just to get the processing going faster. The 95% processing.
So there's that mess, which is the cone.
Yeah, here's the You're
That's an
atypical.
interesting term.
Yeah, your mic is pretty muffled right now. You sound like me when I'm underwater. But yeah. So landfall in Florida is not a guarantee. It's not guaranteed, but you never really know with these sort of things. But regardless of a landfall, you're still going to see very heavy rains, hurricane force winds gusting up to major force, and storm surges possibly up to 12 feet in some areas. But the storm is kind of small, so storm surge isn't really as big of an issue as it could be. But still, but just because it's smaller than normal doesn't mean it's non-existent. Here are the computer models lately. Just try to ignore all this mess over here. I'm just gonna kind of zoom in real quick. Onto this, but yeah. So pretty tight consensus that this is a little bit outdated. This is from the 18Z, so it's still a little bit offshore. It should probably be a little bit further towards the west, in my opinion. Because you really got your major models over here, and you got some less majors over here. So some pretty big models over here. After that, the whole looping motion that Strat explained a little earlier, that could either push it into the Gulf or push it out to sea. It's an interesting scenario, certainly. So that's what's going on with the track forecast. Let's see if we got any comments.
And look at the UK Met track.
The UK Met track.
The one in blue.
Here. Yep. No, yeah, I know that, but I was just giving.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, the UK Met takes it. It looks like just offshore, and then makes a landfall like on the very southern tip of Florida. So that's an interesting solution, I guess.
Yeah, and the AVN track hasn't really changed.
The AVNI, that's the GFS model.
That hasn't really changed.
Yeah, why am I so zoomed in? Oh yeah. So yeah, that's the GFS model that takes it. Actually, this is a newer I guess.
It's updating.
Yeah, I haven't seen the latest GFS run, so let me take a look at that actually. It's a bit farther offshore than the last run. Last run had it onshore. This one just offshore. It may be responding to the fact that the system was moving a little bit further east, but now it's kind of curved back towards the west, and basically it could fall anywhere between these two runs, and anywhere between these two runs means a landfall in Cape Canaveral. So that's the unfortunate part. Yes, so that's what's going on to GFS, and while I'm on this graphic, I might as well show the rest of the models really quickly. I'll save the mesoscale models for a little bit later on. That's not what I wanted. I wanted, where are they? A50 millibars, yes. So you've seen the GFS track. The ECMWF is saying that the system it's going to make a landfall, but then again, this is the 12Z. It's going to make a landfall, it looks like. That's what the ECMWF is saying. And then kind of curves it back towards Florida, weakening to barely anything just offshore of Miami. In about, that's at least 6 days, but 6-day forecasts are never the best. Then it shoots off out to sea as a very weak system and continuing to weaken, it looks like. The CMC is saying that the system is going to, this is the 12Z run, make a landfall, and kind of do, it tries to make the loop, but then it kind of stalls in that area, and then intensifies as it moves off toward the northeast. If it sounds like I have a little bit of a lisp, I'm sorry about that. I've been talking a lot these past, who knows how long I've been up. I've been up for at least 12 hours now. Yes, it's 5:55 at my place, but I've been up since at least 5:30. Dav Gem is coming out right now, so we'll just go back one run. And they say that the previous run out a little bit farther offshore, and NavGem doesn't actually have the system make a landfall, it keeps it offshore. But the new NavGem model looks like that is going to make a landfall. That's 12 hours out. Yeah, that's closer than the previous run. Anyways, really quickly, the HWRF says that Matthew is going to, actually I'm going to change this real quick to give you a better scale of what it's actually expecting. It says no landfall, but very close. And that's as far out as it can go. GFDL saying that we will have a storm that will make landfall. It says the 12Z. And let's move on to C. So I'm guessing at this time we take a break because it's 5 till the hour.
Before we do, I know about the tornadoes recently, and the tornado warnings are still coming out thick and fast across Kansas. And several tornadoes have downed tree limbs, or several reports of that from earlier today. The most recent one, the most recent tornado sighting was an hour ago, in Clay County, and
Looks like this one.
reported to be dropping trees and destroying other buildings and debris.
That's a pretty well defined hookup right there, I must say.
On the northern storm, right? Or are we talking about north of Topeka?
We're talking about south of Topeka.
South of Topeka. Let me take a look here.
Because
there's several areas.
The one furthest east looks, I guess, the one with the most well-defined hook echo.
Alright. Well, we'll be back. We'll talk about that a little bit more after the break, and we'll let you know what happens with that, and more coverage on Hurricane Matthew coming up as we get to 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Stay tuned.
So